It's the Tony Rose Morning Show on Sam 100.7, and I tell you, as we get closer to our Kentucky primary, I am so honored to have another guest on to talk about how important it is to get out there and vote, cast that vote, no matter who you're voting for, but especially get out there and do it. Legendary author. I am so honored to have John Grisham on the show. John, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Tony. I'm fine. How are you doing?
I am doing absolutely fabulous. I tell you, now, first of all, what does it feel like? Just take us through a day in the life of John Grisham. I mean, it's got to be absolutely amazing. You know?
You know, I'm one of the luckiest people I know because when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is thank God I'm no longer a lawyer. And I have the freedom to pretty much do what I want to do. For most of the year, with the exception of a couple of months in the fall when I know I have to get up and at about 6 or 7 and go write pretty hard for a few hours. But
right.
Today I'm just kind of goofing off and doing some politicking for Hillary. Been doing a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll write a page or two later on this morning, the next book, and work on the outline and you know, go to the office and kill a few hours there with some business. But, you know, it's just not a high-pressure life anymore.
Now, so that's how it is, I guess, when you know, I guess your writing has, when you first started, it was like, we got to get this thing done, we got to get this book out there and be done with it. Now it's kind of like, hey, you guys are going to work around my schedule. Is that kind of a way to look at it?
Well, I'll tell you what I did with Doubleday, my publisher. Doubleday has published every book, you know, since the firm, which was 1991.
Right.
We sit down about this time of the year and we say, okay, when can we expect a manuscript and when can we publish the book?
Yeah.
And for the past many years, we've been on this schedule of I'll turn the book in around October, November, and we go through the edits and all that stuff, and then it comes out in January or February, and that's what we're going to do next year. You know, if things go as planned.
Now, and of course, so many of your books have been made into major big money motion pictures with the Hollywood. Seriously, I think every A-list star in Hollywood has been in a a movie version of one of your books. What is that like, knowing that these Hollywood stars line up to do a Grisham book into a movie? What is that like?
In the early days, it was very hard to believe. I mean, The Firm was the first movie, and that had Tom Cruise and Gene Hackman and people like that, and was followed quickly by The Pelican Brief and The Client. And those three movies all came out within a span of 12 months. It was really a crazy time in our lives. And those are still the three biggest movies of all the ones that have been adapted. And looking back now, with the benefit of some hindsight, I can say that those three movies, I mean, they're going to be on TV somewhere tonight.
Oh, yeah.
They've had a huge impact on everything that followed, and really, got the name out there. And then I was able to keep, doing a book a year for even until now.
Right.
But the movies have had a huge impact on the career.
Now, when you say, because they're always on somewhere, some cable channel somewhere. If you see them, do you kind of leave it on there for a few minutes and just kind of kick back and smile a little bit?
You know, I watch so little television, but yeah, occasionally around the house, or even if I'm on the road in a hotel, I'll turn on the TV. And yeah, if I see one, I'm always going to stop and watch it for 5 minutes, and I always get a kick out of it. The truth of the matter is, once a movie comes out, take The Firm. It was the first one. It's very exciting. I think I saw that movie 4 times in the first week it premiered. It had to go to different premieres, different showings, different private screenings.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I mean, you get burned up with them pretty fast. You just kind of get tired of watching them. And so, I think I still remember every word in every movie.
Well, I tell you, some of your non-legal stuff is amazing as well. My wife just finished reading Playing for Pizza. Now she's on me to read it as well, which I'm going to. She loved it. Absolutely loved that book.
Well, thank you. It was a fun book to write. After I wrote The Innocent Man, I had to do something that was kind of much lighter and funnier, and nothing to do with law and heavy issues. So I wrote Playing for Pizza, and it's found an audience.
Well, now, of course, switching gears a little bit, the Kentucky primary. This is the first time I'm telling all the folks coming on and talking about it. First time it's mattered in Kentucky in many moons, man. The vote's actually going to mean something when they come, when the Kentucky primary comes up in May, and especially right here in Bowling Green.
Isn't that great? I mean, it's I live in Virginia. We voted a few weeks ago. It was not supposed to matter. I'm from Mississippi. I was campaigning down there for Hillary, and it wasn't supposed to matter, but it does. That's the great thing about the process, as grueling and as expensive as it has become.
Yeah.
And it's way too much. We need to change the way we do things. But these states and these late primaries suddenly are very, very important. And when Kentucky, when the primary rolls around, you're going to be flooded with all this attention, all these ads, all these volunteers. And we've done it. My wife and I have campaigned in South Carolina, Texas, Mississippi. I think we're going to Pennsylvania next week. We may even come to Kentucky.
We'd love to have you
and do some campaigning.
Well, I tell you, if you get down to Bowling Green, now we were talking off the air with Western Kentucky here in town. You actually had a little you got a little Western Kentucky connection, don't you?
Yeah, about 20 years ago, I went to Mississippi State. That's my school.
Yeah.
And State hired a guy named Don Zacharias, who was the president of Western Kentucky. And we hired him as our president. And I got to know Dr. Z, as we call him. And he served for 13 years. He was a great president, became a great friend. He still lives in Starkville, Mississippi, but he always spoke so fondly of his days at Western Kentucky and his days in Bowling Green.
Well, it's a great time. We look forward to having maybe you through the area at any point. You're more than welcome to come by and hang out with us here on the show. And of course, now Hillary, you guys going to be helping out. What's the next stop for you? Where you guys heading out to next?
I think we're going to Pennsylvania next week because it comes up a week from Tuesday, and that's got everybody's attention right now. It's such a big state with a lot of votes. We'll probably go do some campaigning there. We live close to North Carolina. Our daughter is a senior at Chapel Hill, and so we'll probably go down there and do some campaigning.
Yeah.
We kind of go where the campaign directs us. And then the fun part of it, there are a lot of people doing what we're doing. A lot of surrogates out there, a lot of volunteers who just kind of run from state to state, and it's been a lot of fun. I
tell you, this thing's going to come down to August, isn't it? Last minute.
You know what I think is going to happen? When the votes are counted, June 2nd, the last primary is over, somebody's going to have more votes, somebody's going to have more delegates, and at that point it's going to be over. I think the Democrats will, the loser will bow out graciously, and we'll have a couple of months to kiss and make up and make peace. And I think the convention is probably going to be a love fest.
It'll be good. We need a little love. It's always darkest before the dawn. John Grisham, we appreciate you taking the time out, coming on with us, and as always, just an honor to have you on the show, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.